Okay, let's work on some lists in App Inventor. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the list in the block screen, and we're select the most basic and beginning block for making lists, and that's make a list. And we have to set a variable for it. So we're going to go to variables and select initialize variable, and we'll name it. I'm just going to name it my list because I'm not feeling very creative right now. And click those together, and now we're saying that my list will be a list. So the variable my list will be a list. We'll start off with putting some integers in it. And you can see we only have 2 spots. I have 5 numbers. I can make the list larger by clicking on the little gear sprocket here, and I'll add 3 more items to it, which gives me 3 more spots to click in my integers. And so now that I've done that, let's just put some numbers in here real quick. Okay, so now I have a list with the numbers 5, 8, 4, 7, and 9 in the variable my list. So to check this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the numbers on my front screen. So in the design mode, I've already created a bunch of labels, just horizontal. I used horizontal arrangements, and I put 2 labels in each of my horizontals. One is my title, element 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the other one is going to be where the number is going to show up. So let's go ahead and go back and we'll get that all assigned. So in order to do this, the first thing I need to do is get the label. So we're going to go to element 1, which is what I call the label that's next to the words element 1. And I'm going to say set element 1, I'm going to change has margins to text. And then what I'm going to put in there is going to be under list, go down here till we find a list, select list item, list, and then index. Click that in there. What it's saying is that it's going to follow, it's going to look in the list that we give it. So the list we're going to give it is my list. So now we're saying look into the list of my list, and then it's going to say which spot do I want to look at. So since I'm dealing with element 1, I'm going to tell it to look at spot number 1. Then as I duplicate this, I change this to element 2, this to element 3, this to element 4, and this to element 5, and change my index numbers to 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so what we have here is in the label element 1, the text in the label element 1, I'm going to put the value that is in the variable my list in the first index position, which would be 5. In the spot for element 2, I'm going to place what's in my list at number 2 at the second spot, 8. So all this done, I should have 5, 8, 4, 7, 9. And I need to tell the computer to do it, or the app to do it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go under screen 1, and I'm going to get a when screen 1 is initialized. Going to put that in there, so as soon as the screen's initialized, it's going to do all that and put those on my screen. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Connect. Okay, I'm connected now, so let's look at and you can see that 5, 8, 4, 7, and 9 are the numbers that it gives me, and 5, 8, 4, 7, 9 are the numbers I gave it. Okay, so let's move it on. I think the next we're going to work on a list picker. So let's go ahead and get rid of all these. What I said, delete 4 blocks. So get rid of all those. And now I'm going to do a list picker. So let me go back to my design view. And I'm going to get a list picker. And I'm going to drag over here and drop it. Go back to blocks. And I'm going to click on list picker, get its options. And I'm going to first off grab the set list picker and change it from background to elements. So list picker elements, I'm going to put up here in my initializing, sorry about that, block, and I'm going to assign the values from the variable myList, which is a list. So all this list should go into the list picker. And then I'm also going to, just as an added bonus, I'm going to set the text on that button to change to whatever I selected. So again, I go to list picker, and I'm going to pick the event handler after picked. So whatever is in there is going to happen after I pick something. And then I'm going to say set list pickers text to whatever the list picker has selected. So after using the list picker, it's going to set the text of the button on list picker to whatever I did select. And let's see how that worked. Okay, so there's my button for list picker. Let's click it. I'm going to have to go back and reconnect here in just a second. For some reason, it doesn't. So let's see. Okay, so now let's see. And there's my numbers. Then if I select one of them, let's say I select number 8, you're going to see how it put it on the button. And then if I hit that button and select 9 instead, now 9's on the button. Okay. So next, let's change it from a list picker to a list view. So I can get rid of these, and I'm going to go back to design view, and I'm going to leave list picker there because I'll probably use it in a second here, and this time I'm just going to drag a list view in there. Go back to blocks, once again scroll down, find list view, and we're going to basically do the same thing. We're going to set list view set list view elements to sorry, I'm getting confused for a second there. There we go. What I did was I now changed it from list picker elements being in my list to the list view, which is just a different way to look at it. And so let's look at it. and we might have to connect again. So let's view, let's see, let's go ahead and reconnect again. Okay, and then you can see right here the numbers. They're really tiny, but they are selectable. 5, 8, 4, 7, 9. You just change the fonts to get those bigger. So we'll go back to App, and I think I'm going to cut it short right there, and then I'll go further into some of the other stuff on this in my next video. I will see you then.